Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Neelam Panchal from Gujarat University and I welcome you all in this session today on organization structure, meaning and characteristics. Friends, let me introduce you to the topic. So, organization structure, as the name refers, it is a critical component of any business, serving as the framework that defines how activities are coordinated and how resources are allocated to achieve the organization's goal. Now, it encompasses the arrangement of the roles, responsibilities and communication channels within an organization, guiding how employees interact and collaborate. So, the structure not only influences the day-to-day operations, but also impacts the overall effectiveness and efficiency of the organization. Friends, in today's fast-paced and a competitive business environment, having a clear-cut and adaptable organization structure is very important than ever. So, it helps in establishing a clarity in reporting relationships. It enhances the communication and ensures that the tasks are aligned with the organization's strategic objectives. Friends, it is important to note that a well-defined structure can foster a culture of accountability, streamline decision making and improve the operational performance. Conversely, a poorly designed structure leads to confusion, inefficiencies and hinder an organization's ability to respond to the changes in the market. So, friends, as businesses evolve, understanding the various types of organizational structures and their characteristic is very essential for the leaders and for the managers. This knowledge enables them to choose or adapt a structure that not only fits to the current needs, but also supports future growth and innovation. Now, this document is giving you an insight into the organization structure, its types and characteristics, the advantages and disadvantages we will discuss, which is talking about different structures and also the factors that influence the design. So, here we would try to explore and try to provide insights into how a well crafted organization structure can be a cornerstone for the success in any enterprise. So, friends, let me tell you what are the objectives of the session. So, the objectives of the sessions are to make you understand the concept of the organization structure and the basis of the organization structure. Another objective is to make you understand the key elements of the organization structure. Also, to make you understand the basis of organization structure and the differentiation and the integration. Also, another objective is to make you know various features of the good organization structure. Also, to understand various types of organization structure and their prominent features. So, now let us try to understand what is the meaning of organization structure. So, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of the organization structure according to you? Friends, organization structure is comprising of the systematic arrangement of roles, responsibilities and authorities within an organization. It serves as a framework that outlines how tasks are divided coordinated and supervised to achieve the organization's objectives. Now, by defining the hierarchy and relationships among different parts of the organization, the structure facilitates effective communication, decision making, and resource allocation. At its core, organization structures help clarifying the different elements, which includes number 1, roles and responsibilities. Friends, each position within the organization structure has specific duties and expectations, ensuring that everyone understands their contributions to the organization's goals. Now, this clarity minimizes the confusion and overlaps in the responsibilities. Second is a hierarchy. So, organization structure establishes a chain of command, illustrating who reports to whom. Now, these hierarchical framework aids in the flow of the information and decision making processes as it delineates the levels of authority. Thirdly, departmentalization. So, organizations often group the functions or teams based on various criteria such as functions like marketing, finance, products, projects or geographic locations, so on and so forth. So, this departmentalization allows for the specialization and expertise in specific areas. Another point is coordination and communication. So, friends, a well-defined structure facilitates coordination among the different departments and teams. So, it outlines the channels through which the information and instructions flow, promoting the collaboration and reduces the silos. Another point is formalization. Now, these refers to the extent to which the rules and the procedures and the policies govern the organization. So, high formalization, it can lead to consistency and predictability, while low formalization may promote flexibility and innovation. Friends, it is important to understand that organization structure is not static at all. It evolves in the response to the changes in the internal as well as the external environmental factors like organizational size, industry type, the technological advancements. It can necessitate the adjustments to the structure. So, understanding the meaning and importance of the organization structure is a crucial for the leaders as it plays a pivotal role in determining the overall effectiveness of the organization in achieving its the strategic goals. So, friends, by aligning the structure with the organization's mission and vision, leaders can foster a culture of efficiency, collaboration and adaptability. So, this is what the organization structure means. Now, the next task over here is let us understand the types of organization structure. So, friends, organization structures can vary widely depending upon the size, goals and the nature of the businesses. Let us look into some of the common types. The first type is a functional structure. Now, what is functional structure? So, in a functional structure, the organization is divided into departments based on the specific functions or the roles such as marketing, finance, human resources and operations. Now, each department is managed independently, allowing for specialization and efficiency in the task execution. So, what are the advantages? Can anyone tell me? Yes, you are correct. It clear lines of the authority and a specialization. It also improved the efficiency and productivity within departments. Then it is easier in providing the training and the development within the functional areas. On the other hand, it is also having a disadvantages. So, what are the disadvantages? The first is potential for the silos, where departments become isolated and communication suffers. Other disadvantages: limited view of the organizational goals beyond the departmental functions. Now, this is also one of the important aspects that we need to keep in mind while we select the organization structure. Now, the second category is a divisional structure. So, friends, a divisional structure, as the name suggests, it organizes the company into semi-autonomous divisions, each responsible for a particular product line, geographic area or market segment. So, each division operates like a small segment or a small company with its own resources and the goals. What are the advantages? So, the first is flexibility to respond to the market changes and customer needs. Secondly, clear accountability, because whosoever is running the division, he is responsible for the measurement of each division. Another point is greater focus on the specific products and the regions, right? On the other hand, what are the disadvantages? Let us try to look into. So, the first is duplication of the resources across the divisions. It can also lead to inefficiency. And secondly, potential for the interdivisional competition rather than the collaboration. Okay, so that is the second type of structure. Now, the third type of structure is a matrix structure. What is matrix structure? The matrix structure combines the elements of both functional and divisional structures. So, what happens here is employees report to both functional manager and a project or a product manager. Now, this structure is designed to improve the flexibility and responsiveness. Okay. So, what are the advantages? The first is enhanced communication and collaboration across the departments. Secondly, greater flexibility in resource allocation. Thirdly, ability to draw on specialized skills from the different areas. What are the disadvantages? So, the disadvantages include confusion over the authority and reporting relationships can arise. Potentials for the conflicts between the functional and project managers. Okay, so these are the three types. Now, let us look into the fourth structure type, that is a flat structure. Now, what is a flat structure? So, a flat structure minimizes the level of management, promoting a horizontal and approach to the leadership. So, these type of structure often involves fewer hierarchical layers and it encourages the employee involvement in the decision making. Let us look into what are the advantages of the flat structure. So, here the faster decision making and increased agility is the first advantage, and then secondly there is enhancement in the employee engagement and motivation, because employees feel that they have an authority to take the decision. Then lower administrative cost due to fewer management levels, right. So, these are the advantages. On the other hand, as we have said, there are disadvantages also. So, the first is potential for the role ambiguity and lack of clear authority. Secondly, it may become unwieldy as the organization grows, right. So, it is very important to understand where to keep a flat structure or not, right. Now, let us look into the other type. So, the next is a network structure. So, in a network structure, the organization relies on a central core that outsources many functions to external partners or contractors. Now, this structure is often used by the companies seeking flexibility and a rapid scalability. Let us look into the advantages. So, the first advantage is high adaptability to changes in the business environment. Secondly, access to a wide range of expertise and resources. Thirdly, cost savings from outsourcing non-core functions. Okay. So, what are the disadvantages? Can anyone tell? Just think over. Okay. So, let us go ahead. The first is dependence on the external partners. It can lead to the risks. Secondly, challenges in maintaining the control and quality across the outsourced functions. And then let us look into the other type of the structure. So, another type of structure is a team based structure. So, in a team based structure, the organization is built around the teams that are responsible for the specific projects or the tasks. Now, this structure promotes the collaboration and a flexibility as the teams are often cross functional. Friends, let us look into the advantages. So, it encourages the innovation and creativity through the teamwork. We all know that teamwork is very, very important, and it of course leads to the motivation. Secondly, quick response to changing conditions and the project demands. Thirdly, enhanced communication and relationship building among the team members, right? So, these are the advantages. Now, let us look into what are the disadvantages. So, the first is potential for the conflict within the teams and challenges in the coordination. Complexity in managing the multiple teams and projects simultaneously. Friends, each type of organizational structure that we have seen over here, it has its own set of advantages and disadvantages, and the choice of the structure, it should align with the organization's goal, organization culture and the operational needs, right. So, by understanding these various types of the advantages and the disadvantages, the leaders can make the informed decisions that best suit their organizational context, right. So, you have to take the decision which enhance the overall performance and the adaptability, right. So, choosing the right type of structure for your organization is very, very important. Let us try to understand now what are the characteristics of the organization structure. So, friends, understanding the characteristics of the organization structure is essential for designing an effective framework that supports an organization's goals, right. So, let us try to look into what are the characteristics. Can anyone tell on the basis of what we have discussed, or can you think over what can be the characteristics of the organization structure? The first is a hierarchy. Friends, hierarchy here refers to the levels of the authority within an organization, establishing who reports to whom, right. Second is the importance. So, here a well defined hierarchy clarifies the roles and the responsibilities, ensuring that employees understand their position within the organization. It facilitates decision making by providing clear channels for communication and accountability. Second is a division of labor. So, these characteristics pertains to how the tasks are divided among the employees and the departments, right. So, importance here is the division of the labor promotes specialization, allowing employees to focus on specific tasks or the areas of the expertise. Now, these increases the efficiency and the productivity as workers become skilled in their respective roles. Okay. Now, the third characteristic is a coordination. What is coordination? So, friends, coordination refers to how different departments and teams they are trying to collaborate to achieve the common objectives. So, what is the importance of the coordination over here? The importance is if there is effective coordination, then it ensures various parts of the organization work together in harmoniously. So, it is essential for maintaining the alignment with the organizational goals, for facilitating the smooth workflow across the departments. The fourth feature is a formalization. Friends, formalization here indicates the extent to which the policies and the procedures and the rules are established and followed within the organization, right. So, high levels of formalization, it can lead to the consistency and predictability in the operations, which is beneficial to the large organization. However, excessive formalization, if it is there, then it may stifle the creativity and flexibility. So, you have to understand this, that excessive formalization is also a problem and informalization is also a problem. So, what can be the ideal, that you need to understand and design accordingly. The next feature is centralization versus decentralization. So, friends, centralization, what does it mean? Centralization means the decision making authority being at the central. So, it is concentrated at the top level of management. While if you are talking about the decentralization, as the name suggests, it distributes the authority across the lower levels, right. So, what is the importance? Centralized structure, it can lead to the uniform decision making, right, whereas the decentralized structure, it empower the lower level managers and employees, promoting the quicker responses to the local issues and fostering innovation. Next is a flexibility. So, friends, flexibility refers to the organization's ability to adapt to the changes in the environment of the market conditions, right. So, a flexible structure, it allows the organization to respond quickly to the challenges and the opportunities, which is crucial in today's fast-paced business landscape, right. So, it encourages the innovation and it can enhance the competitive advantage. Next characteristic includes communication channels. So, friends, now these characteristics pertain to the pathways through which information flows within the organization. Effective communication channels are vital for sharing the information, facilitating the collaboration and ensuring that everyone is aligned with the organizational goals. Clear channels reduce the misunderstanding. You have to remember this, that it can enhance the team dynamics also, right. Okay. The next characteristic is a span of control. So, span of control here refers to the number of subordinates that a manager or supervisor oversees, right. So, a wider span of control, it can lead to more autonomy for employees, while narrower span of control, it allows for a more direct supervision. So, the ideal span depends upon the complexity of the task and the capacity of the managers, right. Now, what is the next characteristic? It is integration. What is integration? So, it involves the mechanisms that ensures different parts of the organization work together effectively. So, what is the importance of the integration? Integration fosters the collaboration and coherence across the departments. It also helps to align various functions within the organizational goals. So, it can be achieved through team structures, it can be achieved through cross-functional projects and regular communication, right. So, you have to remember this. Okay. So, the next is culture and values. So, friends, the underlying beliefs, values and behaviors that shape the organization work get done within the organization is very important. So, what is the importance of this? So, the organization structure, that culture influences how employees interact, how they make decisions, how they approach in their work. Culture is a very important in the organization. A structure that aligns with the culture, it promotes the employee engagement and a satisfaction. Friends, the characteristics of the organization structure are interrelated to each other and significantly impact on how organization operates, right? So, by understanding and effectively managing these characteristics, you as a leader, you have to create an environment which fosters the collaboration, which gives innovation, which brings the success in the organization, and that is totally depending upon you. So, these understanding is also aiding in designing a structure that can evolve the organization, and it ensures the long term adaptability and the resilience in the organization. So, after looking into these key characteristics, let us try to understand what are the factors that influence the organization structure decision. So, friends, the design and effectiveness of the organization structure are shaped by a variety of factors, right? So, understanding these factors and these influencers, it can help you as a leader to create a structure that aligns with the organization goals and the environment, right? So, what are the key factors? Let us try to look into. The first is the size of the organization. Now, size of the organization, when we are saying as organizations grow, they often require more complex structure to manage the increased complexity and scale, right? So, larger organization, it may adopt more formalized hierarchies and specialized departments to handle the diverse operations. Secondly, you need to consider that small organization might benefit from a flat structure, right? While the large organization might need functional, divisional or a metric structure to ensure the effective coordination. The second factor is the nature of industry. What is the impact here? So, the different industries have a varying demands that influence the organization structure. For example, a fast-paced industries like a technology, okay, it may favor the agile structure, while the manufacturing, it might require more rigid hierarchical arrangements for the quality control. What are the considerations? Organizations in a dynamic environment, it may adopt flexible structure, while those in a stable industries might lean towards the more traditional models, right? Okay. The third is organizational goals and a strategy. Now, friends, it is understand to impact. What are the impacts? So, the overarching of the goals and the strategic objectives of an organization significantly influence its structure. For example, a company focused on the innovation may implement a team based or a flat structure, okay, to encourage the creativity and the collaboration. On the other hand, if you look into the considerations, if the goal is to improve the efficiency and reduce the cost, then a more formalized structure with a clear line of authority, it might be appropriate, right? Okay. Next is a technology. Now, friends, advances in the technology, it can change how the work is performed and how the teams interact. Okay. So, organizations that leverage the technology effectively, it may adopt structures that emphasizes remote work and virtual teams. What are the considerations? So, the companies using collaborative tools and platforms may favor more decentralized structure, promoting greater flexibility and a communication. Another factor is a company culture. Now, friends, you all understand that culture is very, very important. Okay, the values, the beliefs, the behaviors that define the organization's culture, it can shape its structure. So, a culture that emphasizes on the collaboration and employee empowerment, it may lead to a more decentralized or a team-based structure. you need to consider that the leaders should ensure that the organizational structure aligns with the cultural values to foster the engagement and satisfaction among the employees, right? Okay. So, another factor is the external environment. Friends, we know that there are two types of environment that affects the business, and that is internal and external. So, the impact here is the factors such as market trends, competition and a regulatory requirement. It can influence how an organization structure itself. Okay. So, companies must be responsive to external pressures to remain competitive. What are the considerations? So, the organizations operating in a highly regulated industries, it may require more formalized structure to comply with the regulations. Okay. While those in the rapidly changing markets, they may benefit from the adaptable structures. Okay. Now, the next important factor which influences the organization structure is a leadership style. Okay. So, the leadership approach within an organization, it also affects its structure. Now, how many style of leadership you know? Correct, right? So, authoritarian leaders may favor more centralized structure, okay, while participative leaders, it may encourage the another type of decentralized and a team-based model. On the other hand, if you look into the considerations, you should also focus that the leaders should assess their style and the organization's need to determine the most suitable structure. Friends, can you think over what can be the other factor? Let me tell you. Another factor is a workforce composition, right? So, what is the impact? The skills, the expertise and the demographics of the workforce, it can influence the organization structure. So, highly skilled and experienced workforce, it may thrive in a flat or decentralized structure that empower the employees. On the other hand, if you look into the considerations, organizations should consider the capabilities of the employees when designing the structures to ensure that align with the workforce strengths. The next factor is a globalization. So, friends, as organizations expand internationally, their structures often need to adapt to accommodate the diverse markets, cultures and regulatory environments, right. So, multinational corporations, they may adopt a divisional structure based on the geography or the product lines, okay, to effectively manage the global operations. On the other hand, multiple factors, it can influence the organization structure, and understanding these all the elements is very crucial for you to effectively design and the implementation, right. So, by considering the size, the industry, the goals, the technology, the culture and the external pressures, the leaders like you, they can create a structure that not only needs the current needs of the environment, but also that supports the future growth of the company and the future adaptability of the company, right. So, these holistic approach, it ensures that the organizations remains agile and responsive in a constantly changing business environment, right. So, hereby we have tried to look into different factors that influence the decision of a organization structure. Now, let us look into various examples of the organization structure in practice, right. So, examining the real world examples, can you think over what can be the real world example, or can you think of any company which you know and having an idea about the organization structure? So, if you look into the real world examples, there are different insights that you may get, and that is into how different models function and their effectiveness in achieving the business goals. Okay. So, let us look into some notable examples over here across the different industries. So, the functional structure, the example is Procter and Gamble. If you look into Procter and Gamble, they operate primarily with a functional organization structure, right? And grouping the operations into the departments such as marketing, finance and HR and a research and a development. So, each department is led by a different functional managers, allowing for a specialization and efficiency. So, because of this, what are the benefits? Because of this structure, it enables P&G to leverage the expertise in different specific areas, okay, and it leads to the effective product development and a strong brand management, okay. But then on the other hand, there are challenges also, like potential silos may arise, hindering the communication and collaboration between the departments. Okay, let us take another example. Can anyone think of examples of the divisional structure? Okay, let me tell you, General Electric, it is an example of the divisional structure. So, here the employees, a divisional structure are given where a company is divided into different business units. Okay. So, each focusing upon different product lines such as aviation, healthcare and energy and so on. Okay. So, each division operates semi-autonomously with its own management structure. What are the benefits? It allows the GE to respond quickly to the market changes and customer demand, customer satisfaction, promote the accountability and tailored strategy for each division. Okay. What are the challenges? So, resource duplication, it can occur and divisions may compete against each other for the resources and attention, right? Okay. Okay, can you think of the example of the matrix structure? Okay, let me give you an example. IBM is a best example for the matrix structure. Okay, it combines both functional and a project based approaches, right? So, employees here, they report to both functional managers and a project managers, right? Now, which facilitates what? Collaboration across the various departments, right? Okay, so what is the benefit here? The benefit is this structure promotes the flexibility and efficient use of resources. It allows the IBM to harness the expertise from different functional areas for the specific projects, right? Challenges, anyone? So, dual reporting, it can create confusion regarding authority and the responsibilities, and it potentially lead to the conflict in the organization, okay? Okay. Now, can anyone give an example of the flat structure? Can you think over in your mind? Okay. So, let me give you an example. Valve Corporation. Now, Valve, a video game development company. It operates with a flat structure, okay, and here it is characterized by a minimal hierarchy. Employees here have significant autonomy and they are encouraged to self-organize around the projects based on the interest and expertise. What are the benefits? So, this structure fosters the creativity, innovation and rapid decision making. It enables Valve to take quickly and industry changes. Okay. Challenges are also there to the Valve. The lack of formal management, it can lead to ambiguity in the roles because nobody is knowing who is responsible for what, and it may affect the project consideration. Friends, if you look into another example of Nike, Nike have a network structure. So, Nike employs a network structure that focuses on the collaboration with the external partners, suppliers and manufacturers, and the core team at the Nike manages the brand and marketing, while the outsourcing of the production and the logistics to the other firm. So, here the benefit, if you look into, that it allows Nike to leverage the external expertise and maintain the flexibility in the production, enabling rapid response to the market demands. Okay. On the other hand, if you look into the challenges, so reliance on the external partners, it can lead to the risk in the quality control and then supply chain disruptions also, right. So, if you talk about another example, let us take an example of the Google. Google is having a team-based structure. Okay, so what is happening here? Google's organization structure emphasizes teamwork and a collaboration. Okay, through the cross-functional teams that work on the specific projects, employees from different departments come together to achieve a common goals and foster the innovation. Right? What are the benefits? So, these structure encourage the knowledge sharing and a diverse perspective, driving creativity and a problem solving. Challenges are also there. Coordination among the multiple teams, it can become a complex, and managing resources effectively can be challenging. If you talk about Amazon, and an example, it is a best example of the hybrid structure. Now, what happens? Amazon employs a hybrid structure that combines the elements of the functional, then divisional and a team-based structure. So, here different business units such as Amazon Web Services and retail operate with the autonomy while still adhering to the broader organizational goals. Benefits, it allows to maintain the flexibility and innovation, and then it also leads to the overall advantages whereby they align with the overall strategy. Okay. Challenges, if you look into the complexity of managing multiple structures, it can lead to the challenges in the communication and integration across the organization. So, friends, these are some of the examples which I have tried to give to you, which tell you about how various organizations implement different organization structures to meet their unique needed requirements. Okay, and each structure has a distinct advantage and a disadvantage and a potential drawback. So, highlighting the importance of aligning the organization model with the company's goals, culture and external environment. Okay. So, you need to understand that by understanding these real life examples and the real world applications, leaders can make informed decisions. Okay. And the organization structure has its own best for the companies. Okay. So, in this session, we have tried to look into everything about the organization structure. It's time to conclude the session, friends. So, let me tell you that organization structure is a foundational element that shapes how a company operates and achieves its objectives. Okay, you need to understand that it encompasses the arrangement of the roles, responsibilities, communication channels and decision making processes within the organization. Okay. By understanding various types of the organizational structures like a functional, divisional, matrix, flat, network, team based and hybrid, right, these structures, leaders have to select a model that aligns with their requirements, with the strategic goals, with the industry demand and the company's own culture. You need to understand that the characteristics that we have seen of the organization structure such as hierarchy, division of labor, coordination, formalization, flexibility, they are playing a very crucial role in designing how effectively an organization can respond to the challenges and the opportunities. Moreover, you need to keep in mind that there are various factors that influence the design of the organizational structure, including the size, nature of industry, technology, company culture and the external environmental pressures. We have also tried to look into real world examples of Procter & Gamble, General Electric and IBM, FAL, Nike, Google and Amazon that demonstrate the practical applications of these structure and how they can be tailored to meet the specific business needs, right. We have tried to see each model that offers the unique advantages and disadvantages and emphasizing the necessity of the organization to regularly evaluate and adapt their structures to remain competitive and responsive to the dynamic market, right? So, in today's rapidly evolving business landscape, you as a manager need to understand that a well designed organization structure, it can foster the collaboration, it can enhance the innovation and drive the efficiency. So, leaders must prioritize aligning their organization structure with the strategic vision, workforce capabilities and market conditions to build the resilient organizations that thrive in an increasingly complex world. I hope you are clear with all the fundamentals and I hope you like the session. Thank you.